they're gone, he's dead, and the police are on their way. And he's on the ground face down, looking like he hasn't been worked on, hasn't received any medical care, and this is in the middle of the night from a deep sleep for her. And so you piece that together with the detective feet away from Elliot saying that he was shot in the head, with this later report from the Mexican official saying that it was because of a high blood alcohol level and it was a tragic accident. The family just doesn't know. We can't get information that fits.
But
okay, so let's talk about this even further. I want to be joined right now on the program with Dr. Ramy Hashish joining us now. And sir, you are an expert witness who specializes in injury causation, and you are, I believe, consulting with the family attorney there as well. How do you determine something like this injury? There's a lot of questions that are still outstanding, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. There's obviously many things that we're still trying to piece together. But ultimately, from a big picture perspective, what we do is that we take all the available evidence, and ideally as much objective evidence as possible, and then we can make some determinations from there, essentially. So some of the things that we can look at right now is the concept as to whether or not Mr. Blair was more likely to actually sustain or be involved in a more independent fall. And what I mean by that is, if we look at his height and we look at how people traditionally fall and how people traditionally move, whether it was in fact possible or probable for his body to get over the leading edge of the balcony and ultimately fall to the ground. And the sequence of that, and to make a determination as to whether that's probable for him to do that independently or whether there was some sort of external force or extraneous factor that led to it.
I don't know if you can, offer conversations that you've had and maybe make us privy to them with, the family attorney in this. No doubt this family is completely heartbroken. He was celebrating his 1-year wedding anniversary. And Mexican officials have not been very forthcoming or transparent. Are you seeking more information from them, the Mexican officials?
Well, the information which I receive is traditionally from the attorney directly. So I'm not necessarily waiting on the Mexican officials to send me paperwork or documents by any means. With that being said, yeah, it's a problem in which that's being faced, is that there is this inherent and fundamental delay with evidence. And generally speaking, as we get further and further along, as days go by, that evidence becomes potentially less and less reliable. So timing is certainly key. And certain factors of looking at particular abrasions or bruises, for instance, on the body, or how the body responded to trauma, those are key factors and for us to be able to determine the cause of death. So as days go by, it essentially limits our ability to do so.
Dr. Hashish, what about, say, and hypothetically, we don't know yet, obviously that's the course of the investigation will continue, but if there is something nefarious at play here, and maybe possibly foul play, what will you look at? How will you determine that in, the evidence that you look at?
Well, I think the preliminary evidence already suggests that there's potentially already foul play.
Okay.
Right? So even objectively, if we look at this, the first question is, how did he fall? Right? And could he have fallen independently? So traditionally, when somebody falls, they fall downward, right? So then if he fell in a manner that's traditional, if he lost his balance, first of all, it's unlikely that he'll lose his balance from shooing away pigeons as they claim, but if in the case that is in fact true, and he was not intoxicated, then the likelihood of losing balance and being unable to protect yourself kind of comes into question. People can traditionally protect themselves. And then when falling from height, people traditionally reach out their arms or do other actions to protect their body, right? So all of those things right away suggest that there may be some potential, something nefarious going on, or something more than necessarily that meets the eye. Furthermore, there's obviously these recent revelations that the wife of Mr. Blair is suggesting that he was brutally shot in the head. And of course, that's something that can be teased out immediately upon looking at the body, right? If we had the opportunity to actually evaluate